Hello everyone, Uxal speaking. This one is about party play. After the infamous butterflies clip, I have tried thinking what can I do in a party that it is better than a greatsword mesmer, for example. Here we've got the basics. If an enemy doesn't have stability between twin gravity well and shield 5, enemies will simply be grouped and stay in one place. Also, no one reses or stomps there. After that, I can bunker with shield 4 a bit and get enemy fire. Shield generates a lot of clones, Scepter generates a lot of clones, so I have a lot of shutters available. But after I do this, if enemies do not focus fire on me, I'm really kind of pointless. I simply can't force enemies to focus on me. Also, I have downtime. I can do a lot in a very short time, then about 20 seconds of looking around and trying to survive. Now, the thing about party builds is that when you create a party build, you look at what your party does not have and, well, add stuff. I have focused on interrupting enemy stomp because Hex plays a ranger. Ranger can self-res if it is not being stomped. And here Scepter sword finds. I have blocks. If I'm not really focused, I am able to survive quite a lot. I am too dangerous for enemies to simply let me attack them. But this fight shows that I am focusing on wrong things. I loaded Signet of Domination here, thinking it will be my role to deny squishies. And to increase the power of Scepter as a hybrid weapon. Although Signet of Domination helped me, it was inconsequential in terms of a battle flow. What we need here is a way to evacuate, to escape, a way to reposition if stuff goes pear-shaped. In short, if I played a thief in this fight, I would be more successful. This was a wrong role. Enter Portal. In the last fight it was obvious that we are lacking a way to evacuate, and Portal allows me to go all in, burn all my defenses and make enemy focus on me, and port out, or evacuate an ally. So once again, focus on a player, let Hex kill him using the range while I'm keeping enemy around. The only problem is my opponent doesn't really want to cooperate. This shows how this part of my build is completely nullified by stability. Well, we are 2, so he dies. When enemy reinforcements are going to come, they do not focus me at all, they go after Hex. So my role will be to evacuate her. Simply signal that the portal is ready, go towards her, open the portal, and we are both safe. As they do not know where the portal other side is located, we are able to escape. And this, even without TeamSpeak, is something useful for the party, and this is something the party didn't have before. Something interesting happens in this fight here. I have 2 thieves in the party, enemy has 1 thief and 2 berserkers. Obviously everyone will focus me, because thief, stealthy, So I take the fire on me, blocking with shield, and then use the twin gravity well combination, and as enemies are grouped, T is able to use Volt. In the same time, both T and Mardus are fending off enemy thief. So in a very small scale fight, I am a frontline, a disruption, and a person who groups enemies together. Both Shield 5 and Sword 4 can be used to do mass interrupt thing, and adding some damage it is completely possible to stop enemies from resing. And at this point, with 1 vengeance and 1 downed, the fight is over. I got inspired by Holtz to load Chaotic Interruption, and drop Illusion Line. That way I can remain in Berserker, and capitalize on 1 million interrupts I actually have. As you can see, Scepter Sword allows me to advance while fighting, with, well, Scepter 3 to deal damage and Scepter 1, and blocks, to eventually swap to Sword Shield and use Gravity Well. So this is completely opposite the Greatsword play. With Greatsword you want to be as away from enemies as possible. With Scepter it doesn't matter if you are close or far. So after a major softening of opponents, 1 enemy can be selected as a victim, and now it is time to laser focus, both of us, on him, while enemies are probably between trying to heal themselves and trying to select a target. Because thing is, they do not know that we deal impulse damage. They do not know that I cannot do anything after the nuke. They just know they got hit by something heavy. So natural human reaction is to panic. So this was Evacuation Portal. We met them again about 70 seconds later. The terrain here has 1 advantage, it is not enemy camp. It's an open terrain though, without many obstructions. 1 good thing is water, as in we can swim. But if you are glassy, this is the type of terrain who has more ranged damage wins. They didn't disperse however, so I was able to position myself with Blink and maximize the chaos from Shield 5. This resulted in 1 stomp. Then true brawler mode. Thing is, even if the numbers you are seeing are quite respectable, it is nothing compared to what Ling is actually able to do. This is why I'm here with gravity wells, with the shield force, to taunt them, to take the fire on myself, while Ling kills them. Dangerous situation, I'm on wrong set, immobilized, and under fire. So I port away and blink away, getting outside enemy range. If the terrain was more favorable, I wouldn't have to blink after a port, but I was too close and a stray longbow shot could kill me. In the meantime, Link downed one opponent, so I decoy and use sword 4 to interrupt the rezzing and root enemies in that particular location, because chaotic interruption. At this point it is 2 versus 2, powered by 10 mites I was able to damage the scrapper, and we simply split. I took the scrapper, he took the ranger. Rewatching those videos, I'm still not sure about the armor I should use. In most I'm using berserker armor with scholar runes, but my damage is not as influential as to use it, to be honest. Perhaps celestial armor with durability runes, leaving everything else berserker, would be a better option. This will have to be calibrated. Okay, one last video. We are 2 near the catapult, 2 in ruins, and 1 running. Enemies are 5 plus whatever people at ruins killed. Now, the role of crowd control. 2 enemies went towards runnings. 3 are incoming. Runnings can fight too, so I use twin gravity wells and everything to stop those 3, giving runnings some time to either kill those 2, or buy time for ranger and elementalist to reinforce us. Because enemies had to use some defense skills, we were able to select a target, select a thief, and we downed him. Thief used his mobility skill too early, so I could prepare to blink stomp. The ranger pulled him to himself, but still in range of blink. If they waited a bit more, I wouldn't be able to stomp properly. This also shows a tactical error on their part. 2 of them were focusing the siege, so they gave the initial opening of the battlefield to us. This also put them on the wrong terrain from their point of view, so ranger was easily downable, and we were able to rally hex. However, 3 enemies who remained put so much pressure, both in terms of control conditions, but also in terms of raw damage, that Hex got downed and killed. By trying to res, I also almost died. 3 versus 3. They have actually spotted my bad shape and Reaper tried to reap me, but I was on the more defensive set, so it was okay. Okay, so what do we see here? This time we played more of coordinated game, while enemies made a mistake in their initial plan. Also, we have used the terrain much better. I do not see any way in which Hex could have survived that, simply because between chills and static fields and everything, only Portal could have saved her and the Portal was not ready at her position. So this is something I need to work on. To consider tankier but less damage, or like this, while I already know that in larger scale, this Berserker Scholar armor doesn't simply work. Melee trains eat me for breakfast. But I think I'm slowly onto something in terms of party build, and that there exists a role which cannot be fulfilled by any other weapon set, or rather that Scepter sword has a unique role in World vs. World in terms of possible mesmer weapon combinations. Phew, that was one sentence. In human language, that Scepter sword can work in World vs. World, in party. So this clip to remind the basics. Down 1, block, sword 4 to interrupt, and thanks for watching, Urxalis out.